All right, Rob, you got something you want to say. You've already shared with us that you clearly love this trade. I'll get into my thoughts on it, once you're done. But you got something else to say about it, a little domino effect.
I think so. Of course, in Brooklyn and people who are Nets fans, they're probably thrilled. The whole idea of having a big three and two guys who have already won championships and a guy who's hungry and hardened to win one, who has something to play for, who has something that's just the best formula you can have.
Right. He's hungry.
Yeah, he is hungry because he's been eating. We know that. I saw the pictures last night.
My man is hungry for something.
He looked like the Pillsbury Doughboy, and I'm just saying it, Chris. You could say he put on a little weight or he out of shape. No, he looked fat to me. But
yes,
he could ball out. And the domino effect, Chris, I'm ready to say right here, right now, is that LeBron James and Anthony Davis lost the NBA Finals tonight.
Oh gosh.
That this
You sure you want to go there?
Yes, in their way of them trying to repeat. And I think it's ironic and I think it's great because once again, the idea, the stuff that LeBron put out there about the big three and player empowerment and being able to do what you want to do, it worked when he went to Miami, won a couple championships, but it blocked him when he played Golden State. They lost 2 championships when KD showed up, and now Harden has showed up in Brooklyn, and this trio will block LeBron James and the Lakers. They lost the NBA Finals tonight.
Rob Parker, 2 words, and I think everyone knows what I'm about to say. Stop it! Are you crazy? Will you slow down? I mean, we'll get into your little jab at LeBron James. We'll get into that in the next hour. But I mean, my goodness, Rob Parker, and I don't know how I feel about this trade. Now, I do feel this way. Number one, the talent is off the charts. Puncher's chance galore. When you have that type of firepower, those 3 players, you can't write them off. All right. But I'm going to write them off for a championship this year. I'm saying they will not win the championship this year. And I think it'll help them in the East. There is no juggernaut in the East. We've seen Milwaukee and their problems in the playoffs, and they still only have 1 superstar. We know Philadelphia's got a point guard that won't take jump shots. That's going to probably come up to bite you. I mean, he's a great player, Ben Simmons, defensively and other things, but they're young and mature. He doesn't shoot, so they got their issues. Boston's young.
Chris, enough with Boston.
A little bit
how many years
under the radar talent-wise. Not under the radar, but little underwhelming talent-wise for an elite team. Jason Tatum's legit. Jaylen Brown's legit. And Kemba Walker's legit. So they got talent, but, yeah, they're the little engine that could. And so the East is open. So I'll give Brooklyn that. But Rob Parker, this is a chemistry experiment extraordinaire. Can you think of a bigger chemistry experiment you've seen in the NBA than this? I don't know. I haven't thought back to every single year I've been watching the league, but my goodness. And it might be great, but it also might blow up. And by the way, do you even know if Kyrie's showing up?
I'm good with that. Either way.
Well, I'll give you that. If he's not there, there's no more chemistry experiment. If it's great. If Kyrie's not there, it gives you great cover for if he decides to retire or whatever he's going to do.
Whatever he decides, you can still win a title with those 2 guys, Chris. And here's the other part.
You that.
Yeah, that's why I don't.
But
the Nets
with
don't lose.
Kyrie, their biggest Rob, and I said this, and I was defending Kyrie and all that. But even as I was defending him, I was saying, look, you have to acknowledge that you just don't know what you're getting from him. And his mentality could be an issue. It's been an issue. We're only 10 games into the season. And that doesn't change because you brought in James Harden. It could potentially even get worse. I don't know.
Or, Chris, it could get better because it's happened earlier in the year. If there were 10 games to go and Kyrie was pulling this, then maybe. Then it would be right. Then I would be like, okay, there's too much instability. There's too much going on. It's going to be impossible for this thing to shake itself out. There isn't enough time. But no, there's plenty of time. They don't even have half the schedule set yet in the NBA. We're just getting started. We just put our big toe in the water. And I'm just saying the Nets made a move. The guy was available. And you could say whatever you want. Oh, yeah, they traded some players that LeVert.
Well, they traded some good role players.
But you have to give up.
Are they going to play any defense?
Well, you have to give up something to get something.
Are they just going to outscore you 150 to 140 every night?
We'll have to see how that plays out. But this reminds me of, and we saw it work when they got to the NBA Finals, Chris, with OKC. Harden, KD, and it was Westbrook, but now it could be Kyrie. They got to the finals.
But they were very different players. No, Harden was a very different person and player. You know what I'm saying?
I know he hadn't been. He wasn't the star that he turned into.
He wasn't even a star. Forget superstar. And he was content coming off the bench.
Yeah,
you know?
But he's a star, and I think that this is his chance. Chris, it's great to be a 30-point scorer and people rave about it. Here's your opportunity to get yourself in shape, get your game together, show people that you can play winning basketball in big moments. And here it is with a chance to win a championship in New York with these other guys. It's a big moment.
It is big because you can't – the talent is just incredible. Okay, there's no denying that. But basketball is still a team sport. Rob, we saw it. Remember that Lakers team? Shaq, Kobe, Karl Malone, Gary Payton. And people can say Malone and Payton were old, and they were. But if you look at their years before they went to the Lakers that year, they put up all-star numbers. The year before they went to the Lakers. So they were still very, very high-level players. And it didn't work out. And this is not, I'm telling you, this Brooklyn team is not comparable to, say, Golden State's Big Three. Because the difference was anybody that knew basketball knew there would be no doubt that Kevin Durant would fit in easily with those guys in Golden State. Because
he was better than those guys. He's
better than these two guys, too. But that's not the issue. Steph and Klay move off the ball. They move without the basketball. None of those three players dominate the ball. Now I got two guys that dominate the ball. I mean, when you think about a lot of the big threes that have worked, Rob, whenever you had at least one ball dominant guy, another guy had to just back up and become a role player. Kevin Love, Chris Bosh. You know, so and here I got two ball dominant guys. We know who's backing up. We know Durant's not backing up. And I think they'll all get over 20 a game. But it's going to be an experiment, Rob. It is going to be tough to work these three together, not only because of their games, the way they play the game, but also because of their personalities / egos. I'm not Durant. But Kyrie and Harden's got the game to be versatile and, not dominate the ball. But will he do it? It's going to be interesting.
I'm good with it. We're not putting together a boys' choir for Chris's church.
I'm not
This
asking
is basketball.
For that. Still,
this is basketball.
What's that got? I'm not concerned about what they're doing after the game other than Kyrie. I mean, I just want Kyrie to be there. I'll say this, Rob. There's stories came out about Harden and he's late for the flights in Houston and was calling off practices and this and that. And I don't like all that. Yeah, you should practice. You should be on time and all that. But at the very least, at the bare minimum, I need you to show up for the games. You got to be there for the games. I want you to practice, but if you can't, okay. I want you to be on time, but if you can't, okay. But please, be at the game.
All right, that's fair.
I mean, that's
fair.
all I'm saying. They're still volatile. So we'll see. If it works out, Rob, you talk about a finals matchup with them against the Lakers, or
no.
even
the
Clippers again. I mean,
Clippers
that would be great too.
Yep.
But it'll be the Lakers and the Nets. But man. But anyway, Rob Parker has buried himself. I'm just gonna say it. But what do you think? 877-99 on Fox. Rob says the Lakers will not win it. It's Brooklyn's world. What do you think?
All right, let's kick it off with Max in Georgia. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Max?
What's up, my guy? You know, I got to call in because I believe and agree with most of the things you were just spouting out there. Some knowledge dropping there, Chris. Chris, let me just say, I couldn't agree more. LeBron, boy, I know this was a tough day for him because now he realizes it's not only the Clippers he's got to worry about. He's got to worry about that East Coast team. Now, having said that, I agree. This is a Warriors-Thunder mix. I'm looking forward to it. The obvious are there of personalities and guys wanting to play and not play. That's obvious. But I think this is the team to beat now, fellas. This is it.
Really?
East Coast, baby.
Come on.
I agree. This is the team to beat.
What they doing with Anthony Davis? Huh?
I'll
what they
take
doing
a
with Anthony
two-pointer
Davis?
all day against those threes.
Yep.
All day.
He's
After
making
Warriors.
2 and they're making 3s.
Nah. And then I want to see what offense they run because they've been running glorified street ball for the first few weeks. And it's been working because they're that good. So we'll see if it continues to work with these 3 dudes.
All right, let's go to T in Texas. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, T?
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Man, doing great.
Good, man.
Hey, man, I just want to say this. I think it's a great trade, but you gotta think about this on the other side, guys. Did Kyrie miss out on purpose to destroy his trade value, and did Harden do that also on purpose to destroy his trade value so the Rockets wouldn't ask for Kyrie? Have you guys thought about that?
I think that Harden, his comments last night came on the heels of him knowing that the team was getting close to moving him to either Brooklyn or Philly.
Because to put that out there, he couldn't go back into the locker room.
Right. It was like there's no way you can bring him back. Kyrie, no. I don't think that had anything to do with Kyrie.
But that's a
I've heard that people have brought
conspiracy
that
theory.
up. Yeah,
Right,
it's a
good
conspiracy
theory. But I'm with you.
I don't
Kyrie's
see
a
that.
different cat. Like what he's doing, Chris, is what he does. Seriously, that's not him being on a political Zoom meeting. That's Kyrie, ain't it?
That is. I mean, Kyrie, I still think, Rob, and look, the Nets, from what I'm told, they have been told by Kyrie what's going on. Like the front office executive.
They know, yes.
And
Chris.
so you wonder, do they know? Because people have talked about this Harden trade also being a security blanket in case something happens with Kyrie. You saw Steve Nash last night, Rob, say he's asked if he expects Kyrie back this season, not this week, this season.
Right.
He says, sure. Like, so maybe Kyrie has said to them, look, I'm contemplating some things. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
No, it could be that. It could be that. Marty in Kentucky, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Marty?
How's it going, fellas? How you doing this Worship Wednesday?
We are great, brother. How are you?
I'm great, and I am intrigued.
Yes.
There's a lot of ways this can go, and a lot of them are bad. I by no means agree with Rob that this is some kind of lock. In fact, it could cost him the title. Those role players might have fit better in this system than Harden does. We got a lot of drama in the middle of this. You got the most sensitive of all time who couldn't handle Draymond Green. You're going to pair him back again with Harden, who just threw his whole team under the bus, and I'll quote him on this, said he's given everything he could give. Does he understand what defense is?
Right.
He gave everything
he didn't give that.
Does he understand that? Because I don't think he does. And then Kyrie, we don't know if he's going to go off the grid and fall off the edge of the flat earth. I mean, there's a lot of things that could go bad here, but obviously if you get them to play cohesive as a unit, Durant played in ball movement successfully. Kyrie, when he was with LeBron, did play off the ball a lot. LeBron dominated the ball. Harden in a star position never really has. But if you can make it work, obviously they're going to be tough.
That's a great comment. I agree with pretty much everything he said. Rob, it could be great or it could be terrible.
Of course,
And
there's
the
always
one
a chance
thing-
because of the personalities. But
Right.
I'm always going, if I'm going to put my money on somebody, I want guys who are talented. And these three guys.
Well, there's the talent,
You
yeah,
got
it's
top. What do you got, Chris? You got the top 3 of the top, 15, 14, 13
Yeah,
players in the league?
15, yep.
Top 15?
Yep.
I'd take those odds.
Nah, look, you can't. You got a puncher's chance, man. You got the biggest right hand in the heavyweight division.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. Although I don't think they beat the Lakers. The Lakers play offense and defense. They look head and shoulders above everybody right now because everybody else is just losing games they shouldn't be losing. Even the elite teams, Milwaukee, the Clippers. The Lakers are just rolling. The chemistry is great. But, look, Marty said it. It could blow up or it could be tremendous.
George in New York. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, George?
What's happening, guys? Chris is speaking that wisdom, and to piggyback on Marty's point, those 3 players on the Nets, they're mentally weak. What happens when Kyrie gets 12 points, 15 points consistently, and Harden's dropping 30, 40? Kyrie's a very selfish player. I mean, what he's doing off the court is great, but that's kind of like such disrespect what he was doing yesterday on the Zoom call, and he's just a very disrespectful, ego-driven player. And like Chris says, they can't match up with AD or LeBron. LeBron is too smart. The Lakers can slow the ball down. The Nets, obviously, they'll probably come out of the East, but they're not there mentally. And they have
George,
look what Harden did. Chris brought up a great point.
George,
he disrespected his teammates. He disrespected the game.
George, thank you. Nice. None of that matters, dude.
It does matter.
No,
Rob.
no,
what
it doesn't.
I thought he was making a good point.
No,
None
it
of
doesn't
them we've
matter.
seen
It
Harden
doesn't matter
falter in
because
big moments.
because
Kyrie hasn't proven he can lead a team, and KD's not a leader. It matters.
But KD beat LeBron James a couple times because he's a great player.
Championships.
Nah,
my goodness, Rob,
he was. No, I'm not buying
you
that.
You killed him for going there. Now you're praising him.
The whole notion that you have to all get along and everybody's got to be the same.
You gotta get
and we're
along.
talking about 6 months from now, 5 months. You don't know what's going to happen. They have enough talent to win a championship. That's what I'm talking about. It all has to come together. And maybe LeBron and them, they don't win. You know how hard it is to win back-to-back? It doesn't happen every year. It doesn't. And they got more competition in the West. I'm talking about the Nets are going to win the NBA Final. That's all.
What the caller was saying made sense because you've seen Harden falter in big moments. That might be why he doesn't have a championship.
I saw Clayton Kershaw falter in big moments, and he won a World Series this year.
Finally.
It can turn around.
Good time.
It can turn around.
Yes. Oh, of course. But I'm just saying
everybody before the World Series this year, Clayton Kershaw was a choker. Oh, he was a great player, great pitcher during the regular season. He's a World Series choker. And guess who has a World Series ring? Clayton Kershaw, and he won 2 World Series games.